Hi, Arlene Schiffer. Um, Today's tutorial is basically, whoopsie, I'm all tangled up. I'm going to show you how to make one of these and turn it into a nice decoration on a pendant. This is not, it started off as a cannabis leaf, but was a fail, so I turned it into a pretty flower. I'm going to do it a little differently. I had a couple of ideas on how to do this for you. You'll also see sometimes during my tutorials, I'll pick up a pencil and start writing stuff down. You'll notice I work on paper because I'm always writing down stuff. That's a good tip, and it will keep you, if you're going to go back and do something, try to replicate something that you freeformed, you'll have some notes about it. But I'm going to work on a brown piece of paper. Hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing a little bit easier. I don't think I'll be taking notes during this. I'm going to get my stuff together. I just wanted to throw that tip out there before it just crossed my mind to let you know something like that if you're new to the game. Otherwise, I'll be right back. Okay, what you're going to need in order to make the flower design, for instance this, if you know the corn stalk or the wheat wrap, this is for another project. But if you know how to do that, you can go ahead and fast forward this to how to shape the flower. But there's one thing I do different here than I do, or different on the flower than I do here, and that's add an extra wire to give it the point at the end. So, that's what we're going to do, make that flower. Everybody liked how this came out. It was actually a failed design for a cannabis leaf, and so I put these are actually little buttons, and I don't have any more left. They're really cute, but for little sweaters and things like that, hats, belts, buckles. But so I put that in the center and turned it into more decoration for this pendant, and it really brought it all together. It made it look really nice, I thought. And everybody wanted to know how to do that, so here I am, going to show you how. Like I said, I don't have any more of these flowers. I bought those a long time ago, and used them for what I needed them for, and I'd had a few left over, and that was the last one. So I kind of made a little bit of a flower, rose flower type thing that we can put in the center and make it look real pretty, like. Maybe we are hoping. So we can do that. Or I'm also thinking we can add beads to this instead. And I don't have any that'll fit that. The ones that I'm looking for, we could use the greens, but I don't think they'll fit the wire that we need, the base wire. This is a 22 gauge. But these here, again, I bought a long time ago. They're supposed to be a 14 karat gold plated, if you can dig that, little spacer beads, 1-2 millimeter, and they fit the base wire. So I'm going to use them, or I think I'm going to do it with this, or both, so you can see both. What I'm using is, but for tools, you don't really need a lot. You'll need cutters. Maybe you'll need your nylons. And maybe you'll need, it really depends on what you're going to do with it. These aren't exactly important to use, but you will probably want to use your flat heads to make sure you've got everything tight. Your weave nice and tight together. And to shape it, I'll probably use these, if not my needle nose, the round needle nose. We'll see. For wire, I use, even my scrap wire I use as tools. And here for when I make suns and whatnot, this here is a 14 gauge that I'll wrap around. But today, this is a 18 gauge. I'm going to use 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they wrap, the base wire is 22 gauge. And that's what we're going to be wrapping everything around. So if you're ready, I'm going to use 24 gauge wrapping wire so that it's nice and firm but not too chunky thick. This flower is supposed to be delicate, and I'm going to probably work right. This is dead soft 24 gauge round wire. It's copper we're using. You can use anything you want to. Aluminum, steel, if it's soft enough. Gold. I wouldn't. It's cost effective to use the copper wire. And then once you get better at it, go ahead and step it up to silver or gold if you'd like to. But I'm going to work off the spool because you don't need a lot. It's just a few petals. And I'm going to start creating a base, anchor, just a couple of wraps. You don't need a lot. You just want a couple, and you also want to make sure it's tight together. And this is my 22 gauge. That's what you start with. That's what you're going to wrap, shape your flower with. I'll bring on your first one. Wrap around both. And then bring it through, slip it through the middle. I'm using 5 of the tool wires. I call them tools because you take them out. Wrap around and bring it in through the middle so you can go up to the next wire. These poor wires. I'll probably have to cut some new ones. They're getting chopped up. Oops. Make sure you bring it through the right wires. You don't want to have to go back. You don't want to have to scrap it. This is my 4th step. You can stop here if you want to, so it's not too big. But I like to make that peak. So I'm adding the next. Wrap around. And then here, this is I'm going to take your wire one straight, and he's making as straight as possible. This wire goes all the way down through the back, all the way up back to the bottom. Give it a good pinch so you know it's going to stay flat. And now you work your way back down. That way your wires are lining up on the same, pretty much mirror image of that. So I go 2 wires. You're going to keep pulling. Try to keep it as close as possible. Maybe with one of them I'll show you. No, I'm just going to keep going. Now, I want to add the beads to this one. And normally, when I do this, I add, after my last part of the decorative weave, I'll wrap one more time around the base, but instead, I'm going to add a bead to be my spacer. Now, this will be a first. I haven't done this before. And like I said, this was a failed cannabis leaf design turned into a flower, so it's all a learning experience. These are a metal bead of copper, which is kind of cool because once the you know the gold is going to fade, and once it does, there's copper underneath, so it'll match the rest of it. Okay, now we're gonna bounce this over the bead and start again, going up. Next, there we go. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Well, looks like we're doing that. Alright, I'll show you what I was supposed to do. I could unwrap this later, but I don't, it's too small. Alright, this is what I was supposed to do. One up. I was supposed to do this. Now there's a little. Like I said, you need your other tools maybe. And maybe right now is a good time to get a nylon. And that's what I wanted to do. See how that whoopsie. Yeah. Oops, I didn't want to go that way. Yeah, one's a little messed up a little bit. For the sake of the tutorial, it's perfect. And I'm going off camera untie. Alright, we're going to add the bead here. Close these the best we can. think that's going to be kind of cute. And I don't want to grab that one until I do this. This is the only time I want to do that. And that's what it's supposed to look like. Down under the third wire, up over the two. Keep it tight together the best that you can. Down 2 wires, and then come up over the bottom of your top wire, if that made sense. Squeeze. I learned this weave a long time ago, and I believe somebody had brought it back on a design that caught my eye, and I had remembered there was something I wanted to do, a particular project that I wanted to do using this design, and so I've started it. Pardon me. So this is 3, a mistake, and then 2. We're gonna go. The original ones that I was doing is 7. Like I said, it was a failed canvas leaf, but let's stick with the 7. It looks really good, and it just looks good. That and these here, the last one will do like this, so it'll kind of, maybe it'll look a little like leaves. I don't know, maybe. But because we're going to be doing 7, we're going to want more wire out here. So let's pull some. That might be alright, but these are too short. And it's getting a little tight. Don't want to have to. I don't want to cut these out. These are. I've been using these as this type of tool for a while now. But that should be enough room to give us 7. Well, if you don't have little spacers like these, you can use really anything. I didn't want to go too big. That's all. I don't see why you can't do a 3mm or 2mm. I believe these are 1.5, real tiny babies, little tiny spacers. But they were well made. Gotta give them that. You don't want the wire to be sitting on top of the bead. You literally want it. This is the back side. You literally want your wire to go around the spacer bead, because over time it might loosen up and end up, there'll be a weird bump in your beads. They'll start to separate maybe. You don't really want that. Okay, from here, I'm going to pause the video until I get the next 4 done, and then I'll come back. Okay, I'm up to 6. I was going to do the 7th one back on camera, and one of the things that I think I'm going to do is put a bead on each end of these as well. We'll see how that works out. Just got to add a bead, or this could be the last one because it'll be a separator between those. We'll see. Boot. Okay, looks good. Looks good. And being that this is the last one, I'm going to cut my wire off the spool so it'll be a little easier. Sorry. This is my 7th one, like I said. Move 2 wires in between the 2 wires. Over the 2 wires. Wrap them. Bring the wrapping wire back in between the 2 wires you just wrapped. Up 2 more wires. Stop. To make it as straight as possible. Wrapping wire all the way to the top. Pinch down. Make sure they line up good. And then drop from the back, go in between the 3rd wire and the 4th wire. Bring it up over the top 2 wires, leaving the top wire. Oh no, that's right, we wanted to do that. I can still do it. It's not beyond the point of no return. Might be a little wanky. Okay, now we're gonna bring it up. Kind of. Yeah, these things are so old. Wire's just chewing daylights out of them. Well, that's going to be as straight as possible. It's going to be a guess. It should be all right. That doesn't look too bad. Kids, cut it out. Kitties. Crazy. Play nice. That looks okay. Now with this, I'm going to be going to drop just 2 because I want the top. like this one, not like these. So I can go, guess we can call this a GMO, from wheat to corn to wheat. It's like a box of cereal. That was just a joke in case anybody was curious. When you're coming back down on the side, the right side of your center wire, talking about this, when you're doing this row over here on this side, the right side, you want to keep it as close to that as possible, because when you go to squish it, there's a little bit of wire. If you don't keep it as close as possible, it ends up wanting to just bounce back a little bit. No, here's the kitty's eating. Alright, and that's number 7. And we're going to put a bead on here. I'm actually going to make sure it's anchored in there. Okay, that's kind of cool. Now, this is always fun. Start pulling these wires out, your tool wires. They're called tool wires, remember? This is your framing wire or wrapping wire, or yeah, frame. And they're gonna be tight. 1, 2. Let's see what's going on. 3, 4. Whew. Come on, Tiger. And 5. Leaving the 6th one behind. Alright, now. Yeah, it does look a little bit like a forest, doesn't it? To shape it. You can either do it freehand, or you can use a tool, like a bale that's round, a bale maker that's round, or my stuff keeps getting hung up. I've got things hanging off my lamp. You can also use these. I'm going to go with my fingers right now, and I'm just going to hold these in place and bring it down, like so. Pull down some more. And there's our flower. That came out really pretty. Ta-da. And if you wanted to add a bead or anything, that's really kind of cute, I think. Now you can add, I might even put this in. It might clash a little bit if we want to. I can't hold it. Cooperate. We can do that, or just leave it the way that it is. You can even, if you want, try and make it smaller. But I don't think that's going to happen. You can cut this wire. You can cut these wires off. Unless you want to use them to anchor them onto a piece that you're making this for. I don't normally. I use this wire if I make my own embellishment, which I do actually. Not just that look like little bees. It's got a kind of a weird leaf on it. I was thinking of putting a microphone to it, make a little microphone, and call it Karaoke Rose. I do a lot of work in the music community, so to me that was funny. And that one wants to be a toughie, but you want to get it down there. You don't want stuff showing. And there is a back and a front to these. You'll be able to see it clearly. This is the front. And here's the back. Some of the spikes on one side are a little longer than on the other side. You'll know that that's your back. And here's your front, all uniformed and happy little leaf type petals. But again, if you can bead it like this, or you can add, I don't have anything we can add. This might be too big, but this is a frosted Ches glass piece, really old. And yeah, see, that's just a little too big, but you can add that. You can put let's put this in it. It's got some wire to it. Whoopsie. It's not working out. But at any rate, get your flower or your bead in there. Make sure it's positioned correctly. And anchor it. However you need to. That's what I'm not sure. You should really try and... Nope, let's not do it that way. I think we'll keep it like this. I'm just gonna get the wrapping wire out of the way. I'm gonna kind of give it a twist just to hold it together. If you're going to add a different kind of bead, let's try something here. I don't like to, this is too big. This is just too big. And I'm not really liking putting this in. So I'm going to try something else. Come on, kids. Play nice, Kai. I don't have a bead. Hold on. I'm going to pause. Okay, I believe I found the perfect size moonstone. So I'm going to string it on. I'm going to get a smaller wire, which I have plenty of scrap of. That's for sure. So I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not allowed. This will work out. All I want to do is anchor it to the flower. I don't have to decorate it or anything. And I don't throw any scrap out unless it's completely unusable or something. But normally I don't. I don't go anywhere. Yeah, because this will just look funny. I want to be able to hide the attachment. So I'm gonna... There, it's around twice. Let's get this on. Look at that. This is nice stuff. My contact for some of my stones had gone out of business, which really hurt my feelings. But they didn't go out of business, they retired, is what they had done. I'm going to bring this. I'm going to put it in this one. Hopefully I can get it through. Maybe too tight. It's going to kink up on me. That looks pretty nice. What do you think? And that's a flower. Let's do one more time through the wire. And I think it's in there. I'm going to clip that. I had put a nick in it, and then that was able to twirl it and make it cut off where I want it to. Otherwise it's just a little too close. Won't be able to pinch it down with the flat nose. And you can attach this piece now to anything you want. You can turn it into a charm for a bracelet. And so I know that this was a long and boring video, but I haven't made a lot of these. So kind of a learning experience together. And there we are. To attach it to something, maybe you don't want to twist this. That's good. That's fine. It's really up to you. You don't have to twist it. And just attach it to something. I don't have anything made that I can attach it to right now. Let's see. This is another something I do. I had done a tutorial that the upload corrupted the file. So while I was waiting for it to upload, I had added more to the design. These are really easy, and so I'm gonna redo the video, but I'm gonna include this. Pretty much that's what it is. It's just another piece that I was just having fun and put it together while my husband was talking to me, and now I'm gonna add it to something, and I'll put it in the video. We'll go through it together. We'll design something together. But I hope you like this. Again, it's a little weird on the colors. I'm not a color person, and that's all I had for this size beads. But I hope you have a lot of fun with it, and I'd like to see some finished work products, you guys. So upload them. Tag me, Arlene Schiffer, aka Miss May Werribee from Second Life, co-owner of MJ's Blues and Dance Club, not co-owner, but owner of Hidden Beauty Designs. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.